In 1945, the average American household contained fewer than 10 manufactured products. A bar of soap, a box of baking soda, a jug of vinegar, a tin of lard, a sack of flour, a tub of beeswax, a bottle of turpentine. That was the cleaning supply. The medicine cabinet, the laundry room, the food preservation system, the home repair kit, and the personal care collection. All of it, by 1985, the average American home contained over 400 separate manufactured products. Today, it contains over 600. Most of them did not exist 40 years before they appeared on a shelf. Most of them were invented to replace something cheaper, simpler, and already working. 40 cleaning products, 20 laundry items, 15 personal care products, 10 food storage items, 12 home maintenance products. None of them existed in 1933. All of them are now considered essential. The reason your home is full of plastic bottles your great-grandmother never owned is not because life got more complicated. It's because a generation of advertisers convinced one generation of women that the system their mothers used was primitive. By the time their daughters grew up, the knowledge was gone. 10 products. 10 replacements. 200 years of forgotten formulas. $0. This is exactly what was buried and is exactly how to bring it back. The American consumer packaged goods industry generates over $2 trillion annually. Procter & Gamble alone collects $84 billion a year. Unilever collects $60 billion. Colgate-Palmolive, Reckitt, Henkel, and Church & Dwight together account for another $200 billion. These 6 companies manufacture the majority of products under your kitchen sink, in your laundry room, in your bathroom, and on your pantry shelves. The average American household spends between $4,000 and $6,000 a year on consumer packaged goods. That is laundry detergent, dish soap, surface cleaner, glass cleaner, bathroom cleaner, oven cleaner, drain cleaner, deodorant, toothpaste, mouthwash, shampoo, conditioner, body wash, hand soap, lotion, sunscreen, deodorizer, air freshener, dryer sheets, fabric softener, bleach, stain remover, paper towels, plastic wrap, aluminum foil, sandwich bags, trash bags, food containers, refrigerator deodorizer, garbage disposal cleaner, drain freshener, carpet cleaner, leather conditioner, wood polish, metal polish, shoe polish, pest control sprays, ant baits, mouse traps, and dozens of other products purchased on rotating cycles of 2 weeks to 6 months. Over a 30-year period, the average household sends between $120,000 and $180,000 to the consumer products industry for products that did not exist before 1945. Solving problems that were already solved in 1933 for less than $10 a year. The system that your great-grandparents used had no plastic packaging, no advertising budget, no shelf placement fees, no expiration dates, no subscription model, no scent of the month. No new and improved formula every spring. It had vinegar, it had baking soda, it had lye soap, it had salt, it had beeswax, it had cornstarch, it had honey, it had lard, it had ash, it had lime, it cleaned every surface, it preserved every food. It treated every wound, it maintained every tool, it washed every fabric, it deodorized every room. For 169 years, this was the entire American household economy. Then a 60-year advertising campaign erased it. Not because it stopped working, because it could not be sold. In 1946, Procter & Gamble launched Tide, the first heavy-duty synthetic laundry detergent in American history. It was not better than homemade lye soap at cleaning clothes. What it was better at was being branded. In 1948, the same company became one of the first sponsors of daytime television. The afternoon dramas funded by detergent companies were called soap operas, literally named after the products that paid for them. Within a decade, the format had reached 44 million American homes. The strategy was not subtle. You fund the entertainment a housewife watches every afternoon. You place your product inside that entertainment. You repeat the message 10,000 times across 10 years. You frame the homemade alternative as old-fashioned, primitive, and inadequate. By 1955, Procter & Gamble alone was spending over $80 million a year on advertising. Adjusted for inflation, over $900 million in today's money. Unilever, Colgate, and Lever Brothers were spending similar amounts. The combined annual advertising budget for consumer products in the United States between 1950 and 1965 exceeded the annual gross domestic product of 17 countries. The advertising did not just sell products. It rewrote what a clean home was supposed to look like, what a respectable mother was supposed to use. What a modern kitchen was supposed to contain. What an outdated woman would be embarrassed to be caught without, not banned outright. Just never mentioned again in any home economics textbook printed after 1958. Never referenced in any women's magazine cleaning guide written after 1962, and never included in any product comparison the consumer was ever allowed to see. In 1953, the United States Department of Agriculture published Bulletin No. 1086, titled Cleaning the Home. It contained detailed instructions for making lye soap, vinegar surface cleaners, baking soda scrubs, and beeswax wood polish. The bulletin was distributed to every county extension office in America. In 1968, the bulletin was quietly withdrawn from circulation. It was not replaced. It was not updated. It simply disappeared. No federal agency has published a comparable guide since the University of Wisconsin Department of Home Economics conducted a study in 1957 comparing homemade cleaning formulas to commercial alternatives. The results showed equivalent performance for 15 out of 17 common household tasks. The study was published. It was peer-reviewed. It was never referenced in a single consumer product advertisement, before or since. By 1972, the University of Wisconsin had eliminated its home economics department entirely. So had Penn State, so had Cornell, so had Iowa State. The discipline that taught these formulas to American women for over 70 years was dismantled in less than 15. 10 products, 10 replacements. Each one cost less than $1 in 1933. Each one still costs less than $1 today. 1. Laundry detergent. Invented 1946. Replaced by grated bar soap, washing soda, and borax. 1 tablespoon of grated lye soap, 1 tablespoon of washing soda, half a tablespoon of borax per load. Stir into hot water, add to the wash. The cost per load is roughly 3 cents. A single Tide Pod costs 35 to 50 cents. The University of Georgia Department of Textiles confirmed equivalent fabric cleaning performance. 10-to-1 cost ratio for the same result. The $75 billion laundry care industry exists for one reason: convenience packaging. Asterisk 2. Liquid dish soap. Invented 1948. Replaced by a bar of pure Castile or tallow soap and a damp cloth. Rub the cloth across the bar, wash dishes as normal. 1 4-ounce bar lasts 6 months and replaces 6 bottles of dish soap. The chemistry is identical. Saponified fat lifts grease and suspends it in water. Dawn does the same thing for 10 times the price, with added surfactants and synthetic fragrance that exist purely to differentiate one bottle from another on a shelf. 3. All-purpose surface cleaner. Invented 1958. Replaced by white distilled vinegar in a spray bottle. Equal parts vinegar and water for everyday use. Undiluted for grease and lime scale. Acetic acid dissolves mineral deposits, cuts through grease, and kills the majority of common household bacteria. 80 cents a gallon at any grocery store. Lasts 3 months. 1 gallon replaces glass cleaner, bathroom cleaner, kitchen cleaner, lime remover, and floor cleaner. That is 5 products eliminated by a single ingredient that costs less than a postage stamp. 4. Toothpaste in a tube. Invented 1892, mass-marketed 1945. Replaced by baking soda and salt, equal parts, with a single drop of peppermint oil per ounce. Dip a wet toothbrush in the powder. Brush as normal. The American Dental Association has confirmed in multiple peer-reviewed studies that baking soda alone is more effective at plaque removal than most commercial toothpastes. 2 cents per use. Colgate costs 10 times that and adds artificial sweeteners, surfactants, and fluoride at concentrations that have generated their own debate for half a century. 5. Stick deodorant. Invented 1888, reformulated with aluminum 1947. Asterisk, replaced by baking soda and cornstarch, equal parts, mixed with a small amount of melted coconut oil. Apply with fingertips. Lasts 48 hours. The total cost is roughly 10 cents per month. Old Spice and Secret cost $5 for the same monthly use. The aluminum-based formulas that dominate the market today did not exist before 1947, and the $80 billion global deodorant industry has been fighting a quiet legal war over their safety ever since. 6. Refrigeration for eggs. Refrigerators became standard 1947, replaced by water glassing. Pickling lime dissolved in water at a ratio of 1 ounce of lime to 1 quart of water, eggs submerged unwashed and pointed end down, sealed in a crock or food-grade bucket. The lime water creates an alkaline barrier that seals the eggshell pores and prevents bacterial entry. Eggs remain fresh for 18 months at room temperature. The United States Department of Agriculture confirmed water glassing for egg preservation in Bulletin No. 338, published in 1922. The bulletin was withdrawn in 1968. The method was never disproven. It was simply removed from public reference. Cost: $3 in pickling lime replaces a year of refrigerated electricity for eggs alone. 7. Plastic food storage bags and containers, invented 1957, replaced by mason jars, beeswax wraps, and parchment paper. A mason jar lasts 100 years. A beeswax wrap made from a square of cotton soaked in melted beeswax and pine resin lasts 2 years and is fully washable. The wrap costs roughly 50 cents per square. A box of plastic wrap costs $4 and is gone in 3 weeks. 8. Commercial pest control sprays, invented 1955, replaced by diatomaceous earth, borax with sugar, and peppermint oil. Diatomaceous earth, $10 for a 5-pound bag at any farm supply, kills cockroaches, ants, fleas, and bed bugs by mechanical action. The sharp microscopic particles puncture insect exoskeletons. There is no chemical resistance because there is no chemical reaction. A single 5-pound bag treats an entire house and lasts 10 years. Terminix charges $600 a year for the same result. 9. Wood polish, leather conditioner, metal polish. All standardized post-1950. Replaced by beeswax and olive oil for wood, mink oil and beeswax for leather, baking soda paste for metal. A pound of beeswax costs $12 and lasts 5 years. It maintains every wooden surface in a home, conditions every leather item a person owns, and produces a finish that no commercial polish can match. The same beeswax that polished colonial furniture in 1750 polishes a modern kitchen table today. Asterisk 10. Refrigeration for vegetables and root crops. Standard 1955, replaced by sand storage, cool ground storage, and salt pack preservation. Carrots, beets, potatoes, turnips, parsnips, and cabbage stored in damp sand at 50 degrees Fahrenheit remain fresh for 6 months. The technique is over 4,000 years old. It was the standard American food storage method through 1945. Cost: a wooden crate, a bag of play sand, and a corner of a basement. 10 products, 10 replacements. Total annual cost, less than $30. The chemistry has not changed. Acetic acid still cuts grease. Sodium bicarbonate still scrubs. Saponified fat still cleans. Pickling lime still preserves eggs. Beeswax still waterproofs. Diatomaceous earth still kills insects. Sand still stores roots. The ingredients are the same. The science is the same. What changed was the marketing budget. The conventional version of this list, 10 branded products, replaced and repurchased on monthly cycles, costs the average household approximately $4,000 a year. The Depression-era version costs less than $30. That is a difference of nearly $4,000 a year. Over a 30-year mortgage, the length of time most people live in a home, that is $120,000, spent on products invented after the Second World War. Solving problems that were solved before the Civil War. Walk into any farmhouse kitchen in rural Kansas in 1934. Walk into a tenement apartment in Brooklyn. Walk into a sharecropper cabin in Mississippi. Walk into a logging camp in Maine. You would have found the same shelf of ingredients in every one of them: a jug of vinegar, a box of baking soda, a bar of homemade soap, a tin of beeswax, a sack of salt, a jar of honey, a crock of pickled eggs, a bin of root vegetables in damp sand. 40% of American families during the Great Depression earned less than $1,000 a year. Their homes were spotless. Their clothes were washed. Their food was preserved. Their children were bathed. Their tools were maintained. Their boots were waterproofed. Their floors were scrubbed. Their wood furniture was polished, not because they had access to advanced consumer technology. Because the technology was never needed. In Scandinavian villages through the 1800s, every household maintained the same shelf of ingredients. So did households across rural Japan during the Edo period. So did villages in West Africa, the Andes, the Mediterranean, and the Russian steppe. The list of ingredients varied slightly by climate. The principle did not. Vinegar, ash, salt, fat, beeswax, lime, and sand were the universal infrastructure of the human household for over 6,000 years. This was not poverty. It was knowledge. The kind of knowledge that does not require a factory, a brand, or a quarterly earnings report. The kind that survives any economic collapse, any supply chain disruption, any inflation spike, because it never depended on any of them. It took exactly 2 decades of television advertisings to convince one generation of Americans that this 6,000-year-old system was inadequate. By 1970, the knowledge was gone from middle-class American homes. By 1990, it was gone from rural American homes. By 2010, it was gone from cookbooks, textbooks, and county extension offices. It was not lost. It was deleted by people who profited from the deletion. For less than $30 a year, using vinegar, baking soda, soap, salt, beeswax, cornstarch, honey, lard, ash, and lime, you can replace every recurring household product invented after 1945. Starting today, with no transition period, no adjustment. The same chemistry that ran every American household for 169 years will run yours tonight. The complete system, including exact ratios, room-by-room application guides, food preservation timetables, and formulas for every household task is linked in the description below. 100 formulas, one document. Everything your great-grandparents knew, in one place. Tomorrow, this channel closes the series with the complete 30-day system. Every formula, every replacement, every dollar saved. The total annual savings calculated, every product on every shelf accounted for, the entire household rebuilt from the ground up. Every product in your home once had a $0 version. They buried it, now you know.